Good evening and a warm welcome to all our viewers, our friends, our colleagues, and especially to our parents who are joining us on a very special event. We're joining here today by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, who has been in the forefront of education and many other related programs. Today we're on the topic of going digital is no longer an option, it's the default. We are joining by three very distinguished panelists to bring you insights about the program and also how you can be a part of their next intake in digital marketing. Now, our session will be going on for about an hour, and we'd like to open questions and get you to involve, get engaged, and be a part of today's session. So, for the first half an hour, we're going to invite our panelists to share their insights based on a few questions that I'm throwing into them. And then we would like to invite you also, if you'd like to know anything interesting pertaining to what's happening in today's context of digital marketing. And the balance hour, what we'll do is in relation to the syllabus context, details regarding the new course, all of that and much, much more can be sent in. So the chat box is open for you to send in your questions, and that's how flexible it is. We're now going to take a moment to introduce you to our panelists who are joining us here today. On my very right, I have the former head of media, digital and activation, a gentleman who has gone through the realms of traditional marketing and then moving on to digital marketing, working through a plethora of products to a brand that has been standing strong in Sri Lanka, and that is Unilever. We'd like to say a warm welcome to Mr. Chandathanakon. Pleasure to have you with us.
Same here.
All right. And then we have another panelist joining us for the forum today, who is an expert when it comes to e-commerce, and also the journey through apps can be rather challenging. How do you use it? How do you go forward? All of this and much, much more. We're thrilled to have with us the Assistant Vice President for Freeme Marketing of Nations Trust Bank PLC, also who's a lecturer of SLIM, Shanaka Ratnayaka. Shanaka, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
And then on my far right, we have with us, we need a little bit of a blend in our background when it comes to education. How do we move forward, and also being engaged in terms of research and education as well. We're proud to have with us the brand ambassador for South Asia for Emerald Publishing and the vice president for education and research for the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Professor Devasiri N. Jayantha, who has a plethora of experience once again for mobile, NFC and telecommunications and much more. Professor, good to have you with us as well.
Thank you.
So the chat box is open for you to send in your questions in terms of general questions as we move on to our topic. Going digital is no longer an option, and it's the default. Chan, I'm going to start with you since you're right next to me. Working from traditional marketing, you've seen how products have grown, how they've engaged with an audience. Take me through digital marketing. How much of a challenge is this?
Sharon, I would say digital marketing is rapidly growing. I would say back in the old days, we have been focusing on traditional media, especially TV, radio, and of course the print, because we have the numbers and we know what exactly was happening. But when digital came, it was new to us, entire industry. And certain companies were not ready to embrace the digital journey. Some people still believe that traditional media is one and only the option. But I see a huge potential, a huge infrastructural change, media landscape change happening in Sri Lanka as well as the global web. So digital now embracing everywhere. Almost the startup companies are purely 100% driven in digital. So it's a challenge, but I see it is the best way to reach to our consumers, get close to the consumers, because I don't think big screen will play a major role in the future. The small screen or mobile is the number one screen in the future. Or at this moment of time also, majority go through everything from your mobile.
Chana, you worked with a number of products, and let's take an example for commercials. And then we've seen how we've associated people in commercials, and now that has changed to AI technology. How do you see this? How do we grasp in AI?
So AI technology has been there, right? Became popular for last few years. With the introduction of AI technology and global introduction of ChatGPT and Midjourney has played a different role in the digital scenario, because now it has become popular in Sri Lanka also. People use ChatGPT and Midjourney to communication, education, and also to build strategies also. It's not your mind, it's artificial technology is helping you to do certain things. With the Midjourney, it's helping you to do craft, new creativity, video production, and also come out with super assets to the market.
To the parents and the candidates who are watching, if you're not too familiar with digital marketing, not to worry. This is an institute that will take you and guide you through as to where or how we should start in terms of the foundation, and then where are we heading in terms of new trends. Now, speaking of trends, I'd like to ask Mr. Shanaka, target audience is key. No matter what subject we do, it is key. And in your purview, how do you relate this into your game of work?
Okay, so thank you, Sharon, for that. So understanding your target audience, especially from a content point of view and from a digital point of view in terms of marketing communications, it's really important to understand what your brand is about from the brand ethos itself, right? And then the second point I would say is the understanding of the consumer, who they are, right? And then with that deep understanding, you'll be able to deliver that level of content which drives engagement and talks to the audiences as well. And a few things that we need to understand when it comes to targeting and content development, content engagement, we need to focus on multiple types of content, right? So it's not just about a simple Facebook post like we used to do back in like 2013, 2012, right? It's gone beyond that, right? So new things have come up, especially engaging content like web post, blog content, likewise, and very recently Google developed something called web stories, right, which is really new, right? It's now available to all advertisers, all marketers. So these kind of new technologies should be incorporated in order to drive engagement with consumers as well as target the right user end of the day. And yeah, that's about it. And few things, if you want, that needs to be focused in terms of content itself is about consistency, right? So one of my mentors always used to say, you got to maintain consistently, right? So you maintain consistency consistently. So that needs to be, a rule of thumb, and maintain that level of consistency so that you build the required brand codes. So example, you would identify a McDonald's commercial just with the golden arches, right? So like Professor Mark Ritson says, that's about building the brand codes. You identify your content in this digital world where you see multiple content, it's fully cluttered. So that development of brand codes is really important. So these are few important things that needs to be considered when it comes to, again, developing content as well as engaging with the right audience as well.
So when speaking of engagement, we started with understanding digital marketing, how it is being accepted, how important it is, and then we spoke to Shanaka on the relevance of driving engagement and how do we evolve there. And then I'm going to move on to Professor Devasiri, asking the customer-centric experience is a challenge again. How do we drive that vision and ensure that a repeat purchase happens, or how do we make sure that it's at the top of the mind of a customer, no matter the transaction of it is, Professor?
Yes, thank you. Creating a more customer-centric experience involves various technologies, various analytical tools, including how to make personalizations, how to make real-time interactions, data-driven insights through various strategies into customer relationship management, including starting from strategic CRM, then analytical CRM, collaborative CRM, and of course from operational level, operational CRM, how to automate the things. So when it comes to personalization, it is a challenge, it is a question for most of us, how to personalize our products and services. So it should start from digital marketing itself. When you look at the customer profiling itself, so digital analytics that provide the help in order to profile the customers based on different segments like demographic segmentation, behavioral segmentation, demographic, psychographic. So this segmentation allows us to get clustered people with homogeneous needs. So then, of course, the next question is what to do with these homogeneous clusters. So to offer them tailored content. So what we can do is, after identifying the needs and wants, homogeneous needs and wants, we can provide the tailored content, tailored products and services while offering customized emails, while offering customized advertisements when you log into our website. So the system itself, they can identify your needs and wants, your behavior. So in accordance with that, can provide customized advertisements even. In addition to that, you can provide a dynamic website experience as well in providing some kind of a personalization. So after identifying behavior of the customer, so you can tailor-made your website in order to suit that requirement with the support of technologies like AI. In addition to that, so in order to create more customer-centric experience, it is really important to have real-time interactions. Nowadays, most of us, we know that real-time interactions that can be made through support of the AI. So chatbots, integrating chatbots into the social media and also of course for the website development. So then the organization, they can answer customer queries and support the customer journey through the technology, through digital marketing itself. In addition to that, it can support data-driven insights as well. For an example, if you consider the predicting analytics, so that you can have predictive models. After analyzing the customer, you can develop some predictive models how these customers will behave in the future. So then we can identify them and offer tailor-made products as well. So that is actually how we can utilize digital marketing in order to enhance the more customer-centric experience to the real-time life. So that is beneficial always for all the organizations across the world. Nowadays, they are going digital. It is the default as we discuss.
It's always a challenging topic, isn't it? Because back in the day, we would throw in the product to ensure that the customer would buy it. And now we observe their behavior and we give what we have, or we drive that trend so that the customer sees and appears it. I want to talk about digital marketing as a subject, Channa. It's very popular. Sometimes there's a trend that everyone grasps it, but in the industry, is it accepted?
Yes,
The role of digital.
role of digital marketing is highly accepted. Not even Sri Lanka, all over the globe, digital is the key now. Without digital, you can't go ahead. Because see, as he said, targeting, personalization is paramount important now. Because we do in mass media, we put the commercial and we wait till the people watch. And we don't know whether they buy or not. The purchasing is happening, right? We see only the reach, right? Here, with the primary data collection initiative, we were able to, the marketers were able to identify the consumers, see insights, right? Personalization, and based on the consumer, you could make your content, customized content, where we call precision marketing, and get the attention. So it is very low for the performance marketing, and it will give you a business growth from the digital very fast, and the performance marketing, your e-com could grow very fast.
So, covering up in all those areas, yes, it is a demanded job role that is available out there. And if you take the vacancy side of it, you can see so many corporates constantly asking for digital marketing executives, expert research, content creators, all of these subject areas. And you very well described how much of an importance that each individual plays in terms of reaching out. Channa, I also want to ask you, how does it help for a business to grow? Now, you've been with a brand that has been standing strong, and it has been a challenge, especially during COVID times. It would have been a real question mark. How do we drive through social media? How do we keep our customers intact? How big is it in terms of growth?
So, business growth is paramount important, Sharon. Any proprietor or the company, a director board will look for business growth. So I would ideally spell it out like this. People call media spend, digital spend, AMP spend, but I would call them as an investment, because this investment in return will grow your business. So in digital, right, the advantage that you have two things. One thing is with the new customer base, and the second thing, relationship building engagement. So we will see what is reaching new customer base. You know, people who are born like 1993 to 99, I think they are not in the group now.
No,
Born 93 now.
I like to admit that I am.
Right.
Yeah.
So that group and the Gen Zs, have you seen them watching TV? Local content? No. Because I have the experience, I recently went for a lecture in Calgary University and found only 5% is watching TV. 5% out of 7. That's a state university, right? Mind you, state university, 5% is watching traditional TV. That is also news. The rest of the people are purely on the mobile, digital. So how could we reach these people? It is purely on digital, social media, and they are not, most of the time, no social, they are into TikTok and gaming. So if you really do the content well, right, and with the first party data using, we can take this, approach this group and increase our penetration, thereby the growth will happen. Second thing is the relationship engagement. As you know, brand like Carnage, how they launch, it's especially in the pandemic they launch. Have you seen any outdoor visibility? Billboards, TV advertisements, newspaper? No. Not even a radio morning show they had. They started purely on digital. They saw the vacuum. They saw Nike, Adidas, and etc. were not available in the market. So they got the real mix to the consumers, the audience, and they gave them aspirational content that the consumers embrace and complement the audience lifestyle. So it helped them to grow fast. Now you can see many stores, right? They started with digital, then they came to the market. So likewise, another brand I would say, two brands, Lavasense and Estara. Those brands are also growing very fast, purely from digital, with the right content. The content production is not so expensive. They do in-house. But they know who is their consumer and the personal interest, all that is, and they are targeting them. So with these two, I hope the digital marketers, if they do these two right, there will be automatic growth from the digital market.
Brilliant opening, which also takes us through how much people were not involved, leaving out the Gen Zs. I would say, like our parents, were not too much engrossed on a mobile device, and then suddenly you see QR codes. They're familiar with QR codes. It's like, pumping petrol. You need to have a QR code system, and even to purchase an item through whatever the grocery items, it was through a mobile device. So that's how much people were pushed to get into digital marketing over the 3 years. Can be considered a blessing, but also can be a big question mark as to, do you have that capacity? Do you have that knowledge that would drive you to go on that journey? So I'm coming back to my target audience. Now, I honestly have been very addicted to TikTok for the simple reason, not to promote the app, but to say how much we are up to date in terms of the latest news that's happening around the world. Whether it's about the natural floods, whether it's about the earthquake, whether it's about a little bit of a gossip that's happening around, maybe the cricket highlights. It's all available. But what is the app that transitions and grow as popularity? How do we keep up with them? How do we know which app to be involved? Isn't it a challenge, Shanaka?
It is. So I think the latest trend that picked up and it grew to over 1 million users, even faster than ChatGPT, was the most recently released Threads from Meta itself. Right? So as a digital marketer and people who are interested in becoming digital marketers, one of the important thing that we need to understand is being updated and being curious about what is happening out there, and then identifying the trends early as soon as it comes in. Right? And then that gives that advantage to brand marketers and overall marketers as a whole to grab that opportunity, and then as soon as the hype is picked up, ride that wave, get the brand message across, and like both Chan and Professor said, give that customized experience to the end users, and at the end of the day, deliver what the consumer wants. Right? So because the fundamentals of marketing still haven't changed. It's about the understanding of the customers, and then anticipating the needs and also delivering the requirements profitably. So the fundamentals have still not changed. It's about how we use the new technology, new tools, new platforms that comes out to the market, and then using it effectively to suit the business purposes, and then taking it out there into the market.
Now, this topic on going digital is no longer an option and it's a default. Came to the highlight by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, because I was a part of the first digital marketing batch of SLIM, and we've seen how much the product itself has grown over the years in terms of syllabus content. And then, yes, you need to be updated. You need to see what are the new features, what are the new functions that's available in terms of apps. And that leads me to the question, Shanaka, as a senior lecturer. Now, a candidate who is watching would be wondering, how do I grasp this knowledge? It's not just about posting a content and running an advertisement, but also to understand the research involved in it. Is that what we are expecting, or is what will a candidate get by signing up or registering for a SLIM digital marketing course?
Okay. So I think before getting into that question, I think we need to have a small build up on that, because as an era, we are moving towards an era where there is product and process parity. So everything is becoming very similar in terms of products and services that are out there. And because of that product and service process parities, it's important to properly identify the customer requirement and the customer needs. So as a part of the programs that has that SLIM offers to the students, the deliveries will consume the latest, up-to-date, most effective trends, most effective tools, most effective research, as well as the ways of using it in the most effective way to the students. So that will help the students actually, not just from a theoretical point of view, not just on paper, but how do we practically use it in our day-to-day activities. So that is really important. And as lecturers, so most of the sessions are happening online, and that also requires a lot of effort from the resource personnel and from the students' point of view to maintain that consistent engagement within the sessions itself. So we use a lot of platforms like Mentimeter, etc., to drive that real-time interaction, real-time engagement with the participant, with the students themselves, right? And that it doesn't stop there. So there is always the use of group activities and activities that need to be discussed as a forum collectively, so that everybody gets to share what they know about the topic, what they have researched about the topic, and everybody comes to a collective agreement, and then it builds everybody's knowledge end of the day. So I recently had a couple of batches who actually were very eager, right, in terms of having their own WhatsApp groups, and one batch actually started having a Facebook group also, a private Facebook group, of course, so that they continuously share the new trends that are happening, and even the resource personnel are also in it, so they also can pitch in to the conversations that are happening with the students, so that at the end of the day, it's not just about the theoretical elements that are being taught through the program, but also additional knowledge that comes in, so that it's not just delivering content, but giving resources for students to follow, keep them bookmarked, and then keep themselves updated as well. So that's all part of the program that is offered.
And much more learning content is being included, because in a particular incident, I share this with experience, there are a lot of drawbacks that happen through social media, and the lecturers at SLIM do pick it up that in an advent of a situation that this has happened, what do you do as an individual? What do you do as a corporate? What's the best way forward? How do you take action? And these are some of the things that are really, really brought to highlight when it comes to teaching or learning here at SLIM. There is another area, Professor, that I want to talk about. So SLIM started with the traditional marketing and then evolved a lot of lecturers back in time, and we were all part of everyone's lectures. Some of those lecturers must be watching us right now. And then we moved into digital. As the pioneer, how ready are we with the content, and how strong are we as an institution to offer this program?
Yes, actually, as you stated, Sharon, so Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing can be considered as the pioneer in digital marketing due to several compelling reasons. The number one is that we have identified digital marketing as the way forward way back, even before the COVID pandemic. So in 2017, if I am not mistaken, we introduced the certificate in digital marketing program. So with the understanding of customer demand and also the industry requirements, we basically developed after mapping that with the content. So it was a huge process we have conducted after a survey. So we identified the requirement and we developed the certificate program in digital marketing. Then again in 2018, there was a discussion going here and there about there is no recognition for digital marketers. So there is no motivation for us in the digital marketing industry itself. So as the pioneer body for digital marketing, we have introduced SLIM Digis, that is the National Digital Marketing Award ceremony, one and only award ceremony conducted here in Sri Lanka in order to reward the digital marketers as well as organizations who are conducting digital marketing activities. So in 2018 again, late 2018 or 2019, we have introduced the Digital Marketing Diploma Program. So DDM we call it. So with the customer demand, the student demand, and also the capturing the industry requirement, we introduced this thing. So in addition to that, why SLIM is better? So in order to understand that, so in 2020 again, we have collaborated with the pioneer in the world for digital marketing, that is Digital Marketing Institute Ireland. So Digital Marketing Institute Ireland, that is the pioneer institution or apex body, policy-making body for digital marketing in the world. Even if you take institutions like American Marketing Association, world number one association for marketing, so they have collaborated with Digital Marketing Institute Ireland in offering their programs. So in 2020, we have collaborated with Digital Marketing Institute Ireland in offering our programs. What they have done was they have accredited our program, validated our program, and they proceeded with both content and syllabus for certificate in digital marketing and also diploma in digital marketing programs, and they accredited, and for their programs they offered us some exemptions. For an example, for the students who are doing certificate in digital marketing, they can easily get the credential of digital marketing essentials from Digital Marketing Institute of Ireland without an examination. So that we are collaborated. We always believe in collaboration. We believe that 1 plus 1 is not equal to 2. It is more than 2. So this is a collaborated effort. In addition to that, in 2021 again, we have introduced CADLI, so our certificate, the digital certificate program, or digital badge. So everything is digitalized now. So the content delivery, assignments, certificate offering, everything is digitalized now. So that's why I state that Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing as the pioneer body for digital marketing in Sri Lanka. We always think about the future, not today. So offering state-of-art products in order to capture market demand.
And also, we also look at the capacity of how do we grow, how do we get the corporates also involved and to be a part of the learning curve as well. It's interesting how things have changed or the transition has happened, because if you are getting into a particular job today, people would review your LinkedIn profile to see whether you have these badges or demands or what amount of qualifications that you have completed. So it's always good when it comes to gaining that knowledge and earning all those accolades so that you can update yourself in the profiles of your career. Professor, I also want to touch, we have a little bit of an upgrade that has happened in terms of our syllabus content. I did mention it. Back in the day when we started, it was all about, okay, how do we post? How do we run an advertisement? How do we see how many people viewed? But gone are the days, do we kind of look as to how many likes does a particular post have? It's not counted, it's not validated anymore. We do consider it, but not as big as to how much it is. But now we have upgraded ourselves as the certificate in digital marketing and the diploma in digital marketing content. Right.
The decision by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing to change the syllabus content, that is a kind of a commitment and testament of quality for education as stated in the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So in SDGs, we basically focus on quality of education. So this decision actually came from the Education Reforms Committee headed by Dr. Pradeep Edward, and also the Board of Study of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing chaired by Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga, who is currently the chairman of the University Grant Commission of Sri Lanka. So that suggestion came from that two boards. So with that direction, we change the syllabus content. So how we change the syllabus content is to cater to the market demand. So it is not only with regard to the student requirement, but also catering to the industry requirements. So when it comes to the changes, the major changes we have done was, the number one is in the certificate in digital marketing program, we extended the duration to 4 months, providing more time for practical aspect than the theoretical aspects. So it is essential that digital marketers, they should have the practical know-how on how to operate in digital marketing environment, which is essential, which is the key. So in order to provide that, so we extended the duration of the program by providing more weightage for the practice aspect. In addition to that, in the certificate in digital marketing program, we believe that we basically do have different students from different diversified fields. So there are students who are coming from mathematics side, there are students coming from science background. They do not know about principles of marketing. So it is essential to have the basic knowledge of marketing in order to understand holistic marketing concept and also to be aligned with digital marketing. So we basically introduce a new model in the certificate in digital marketing program, is specifically addressing that principles of marketing concept. So those are the major changes we have done in CDM. In addition to that, in the digital marketing, diploma in digital marketing program, we have done a major change with regard to the content. So providing some additional modules specifically on web development. For an example, we have included modules for search engine optimization, search engine marketing. So those are essential things for the marketers and also for the industry. So we have proceeded with these changes. In addition to that, so our purpose, our objective is to create all-round marketers. Not only the digital marketers, but all-round marketers, but digital savvy all-round marketers. So with the purpose of that, with the objective of creating digital savvy marketers, so we change the content and also the delivery. With regard to the delivery, we have now, as is stated by Shanaka, in order to have more real-time interactions with the students, so delivery also has been changed. So how it is being delivered, that is also changed. So these are the two to three changes we have done with regard to the syllabus, which is essential. As you know, digital marketing is evolving almost on daily basis. So we have to cater to that requirement. Otherwise, we will be nowhere in the future. So with that understanding, we change the syllabus content.
If you are running a business, if you are an individual who is a part of a corporate industry, I think it's important that you know your way around social media or digital marketing in terms of how you facilitate yourself in order to improve your very own business or to help your customers or your corporates on how they can be a part or connect with your brand as well. I know I missed out in a few minutes, but I need to invite you to send in your questions, whether it's in relation to the current context of the topic or whether you want any content details updated regarding the syllabus or what Slim has in store for you to achieve yourself as a digital marketer to go out of Slim. Be certified and recognized as a digital marketer. So we'd like to open the chat box and you can send in your questions because we have just a few minutes to run through a few more questions with our panelists. Chandna, the biggest challenge ever since COVID, ever since the economic struggle, is to set this digital marketing budget. And then, does it really work? How do I convince my boss saying we need it? This is a part of it. How do we drive it in Sri Lanka?
So as I mentioned earlier also, Sharon, we started very small in digital. As you very clear, it's a paradigm shift, right, happening in the country. All the youngsters are not into the traditional media. So there is a set of people who are still watching the TV, that the age group of mine, sometimes you also are still trust the traditional media. But time to come, this Gen Zs and which I told the group of 93 on to 99 born people will be on digital 100%. So time to come, in 3 years time, they will become the purchasing decision makers, not us. So they will do their weekly shopping, weekly marketing, and they will be the deciding factor. So how to approach them then? Are you going to spend in the traditional media? Then it's a waste of money. To increase the penetration, increase the awareness, then we should go to social media, TikTok, gaming, and use all this high technology to create the best content to get this new audience. So that's how you need to pitch. And everybody knows, I think it's not a surprise or a new message or anything to the top management. They know. So all the top management is now driving towards digital, and most of the stabilized companies need to have a digital strategy for next 5 years. Next 5 years, it will have a huge shift, in the media industry. The landscape, digital landscape will change because consumers are well above than the marketeer. The marketeers are behind in digital. If you take my son, he is of course do everything with the phone. Even go to the shop. Even to buy his own medicine, he use the app. That is the new trend. So you have to go with the line with the new trend. Otherwise, you know what happened to good brands when they didn't follow the new technology and with the consumer new trends changes with the consumer habits, the brands will die. So to grow the brands, you need to invest in digital in the future.
Thank you, Channa. Shanaka, there is always this question, what will I learn when I come to Slim? And also, what will I gain when I complete?
Okay, so there's one saying that I use always in one of the, in almost all the introductory sessions, right? So something that I believe in also is there's nothing called digital marketing anymore, right? So it's basically marketing in a digital world, right? So that's what it is about. So it's not only about marketing from banking to healthcare to everything, right? It's all about doing that in a digital world. So the best output that the participants would get out of the whole program is about how do we maneuver in this digital world, right? How do we use the right platforms, right tools from both a theoretical point of view as well as from a practical point of view. Like Professor said, that is one of the major reasons why the whole CDM and the DDM programs went through a robust change, right, to keep it updated, so that you get, as a result of the program, you get the whole idea of how do we use the tools, use the platforms, and utilize it to achieve the business objectives in a digital world, right? So it sums up. I would like to sum it up in that context, because you need to know that, because not like back in the day, like you said before, brands don't measure the number of likes. We call them vanity metrics now, right? So those are not considered anymore, right? So it's not, even from a content point of view, we now go beyond the simple Facebook post, simple EDM, right? So few things that I want to touch base on is the targeting tools, platforms that we use. It's not again about the Facebook post being done on and cross-posted across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, right? Not that. What about the other platforms? There are a lot of applications that are out there. So even, and there are a lot of brands that have mobile applications as an extension of their service. So how do we use in-app notifications, in-app engagement? That is also part of a digital channel for a brand that is, for example, Uber. Most of the communications happen simply on in-app notifications and on email. Of course, there is out of home and certain campaign period service radio, and there's a whole mix of it. But most of the time, it's hyper-personalized content onto their smartphone, and that's a part of their whole strategy. So how do we use that? We have to go beyond the simple Facebook post sort of thing. So that is something that you're going to go through. How do we again use these platforms and then market yourself, market your products in the digital world? So I think everything in that context is going to be covered. And like Professor said, the importance of search marketing is something that I personally believe is very much underutilized, right? So there is a concept of zero moment of truth introduced by Google, Jim Lesinski in 2011. It's about how consumers make the purchase decision even before coming in store, even before touching or feeling the product, right? But they do the research online, and especially with search marketing, you get to learn how can you, I wouldn't say manipulate, but how can you influence consumers to make the purchase decision right there in the first step itself, right at the zero moment of truth itself, and then take them onto the journey. It's about, then comes the platforms. How do we build effective website? How do we build effective applications? And then drive in the consumers, take them through the funnel. So all of that is something that you're going to get out of the program. Again, summarizing it, you get to learn how to market in a digital world. That's what it is.
And also to add, when we say digital marketing, it's not just about social media, it's beyond that. It's trying to understand the websites. How do you get your website on top of it? How do you make it number one? All of this in detail is what we're trying to understand in terms of the syllabus content, and that's your senior lecturer who's sharing some insights regarding the curriculum, but there is an extended version of it, but it's a very summary that we brought to you. As my last question to Professor Devasiri, we're the national body for marketing. We've always been in the forefront of delivering marketing, whether it's to the corporates, whether it's to an industry person, or whether it's in terms of the awards, of People's Awards, Brands Awards, you name it. All these associations are very proud to have it, and they thrive, they wait to win a particular award, and that all drives down to where we are as a body. Digital marketing at SLIM. What are we offering to Sri Lanka?
Yes, before answering your question, I would like to highlight our mandate, Surang. So, our vision is to support the nation towards its economic prosperity. So, in achieving its economic prosperity, so our contribution can be threefold. One is education and research. So, we consider education as twofold. One is that teaching and learning. So, through teaching and learning, what we are doing is we are disseminating the knowledge. So, in order to disseminate the knowledge, to teach through teaching and learning, we have more than 19 programs at SLIM, so including CDM and DDM. So, we do have different other programs in line with our other programs. For an example, data-driven marketing professional. In addition to that, postgraduate diploma in marketing. There are various other programs supporting the marketers across Sri Lanka and also beyond. So, in addition to that, we conduct so many experience sharing sessions or forums, ESFs, in order to disseminate our knowledge to the audience. So, on monthly wise, almost on weekly wise, this panel discussion also can be considered as one of that event. So, in addition to that, so in order to disseminate the knowledge, we should find the new knowledge, isn't it? Yes, we should find the new knowledge in order to disseminate the same. So, for that, we need research. So, in 2020, we established SLIM Research Bureau with that purpose in our mind. So, we developed SLIM Research Bureau. So, SLIM Research Bureau was established in order to support that vision. So, it is also basically twofold. We do have education arm under the SLIM Research Bureau and also the commercial arm. Commercial arm that was established in order to support the small and medium entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka. Because you know, there are research organizations who support large conglomerates and large organizations where they can afford that kind of a budget. But there are so many entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka, small and medium size, they cannot afford that much in research. So we are for that. So we established that commercialization arm in order to support small and medium entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka. With regard to the education research arm, so that is a newly established division. So we do have different programs for that, for your knowledge. So we established in 2021 International Conference in Marketing Management, where all the marketing researchers, they can present their new findings at the conference. So for the fourth time, we are conducting that conference in year 2023. In addition to that, in 2021 again, we have established South Asian Journal of Marketing, that is a research journal published by Emerald Publishing. For your knowledge, this is the only one journal published by a giant publisher in Sri Lanka, owned by Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, not by any other marketing institution or any other institution or an university. So, Emerald is a pioneer body for publishing. So, this is the #1 marketing journal in South Asian region now. So, it is being indexed in ABDC Scopus. So, we can be proud of that. So, the second thing I wanted to highlight, so I stated down the education and research. The second contribution I wanted to highlight, the social contribution we make. So, almost on daily basis, we make social contribution. So even before this event, I participated for a program at Nalanda College for one of their programs. So basically we sponsored them, we offered 1 million worth of a scholarship for our programs. So that is the social contribution we every day make. In addition to that, you highlighted on few award ceremonies like FE Award, People's Award, likewise. So all of them are social contribution because we do not make profits out of it, Sharon. Because for all the award ceremonies we conduct here at Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, that is not profit making events. That is for social contribution, for the motivation, for the recognition of the fraternity. So the third pillar is the policy development. So in terms of policy development, we basically support Sri Lanka government and also Sri Lanka for all the other institutions for policy development. For an example, we established or we introduced ethical marketing guideline in 2022, how to practice marketing in an ethical manner. So we have published it as a small booklet. So that is a guideline we provided. So with regard to policy development, we support. For an example, nowadays we are working on developing a market research model from grade 6 to grade 10 with the support of NIE and Ministry of Education. For that model, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing support. So policy development and for the education, we have a separate arm at Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. So in summary, we support and we contribute to the nation not only through digital marketing programs but also through various other programs, through digital marketing education, digital marketing research, social contribution, and also with regard to policy development. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Professor, for taking us through that very detailed concept as to what the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing is offering. With that, I'd like to ask my crew at the very back who has been very supportive right throughout from the start. Do we have any questions from our audience? Or they've been rather very silent. Thank you very much. But we have our team here with us at SLIM who is ready to support you in terms of their intake. There is the certificate in digital marketing, which is happening in October, and the diploma in digital marketing, which is happening in September, which is the upgraded content, and the intake is now on. So for more details, you can contact Anuka on 070-333-6187, or you can contact Anushika on 070-345-6654. Those are the contact numbers, or you can simply call SLIM and they'll be happy to assist you with the certificate in digital marketing or diploma in digital marketing, which is the intake is now on. So while we say thank you for joining us for the official launch, we also want to say thank you to our panelists. Real pleasure in having Mr. Channa Thinakon, Mr. Shanaka Ratnayaka, and Professor Devasiri N. Jayantha. Thank you very much for joining us for a very insightful discussion. And to all our very special invitees, as well as our panel members and participants, parents, and everyone else who joined us online. Thank you for being a part of our relaunch on learning on a topic on going digital. And don't be afraid to take up a course or a new area of learning because it's fun, it's enjoyable, and it's something that you will get your hands-on experience, and it's always best to stay ahead of the game in learning in the future of marketing. I'm Shara Masquini signing off from everyone here at the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. Have yourself a wonderful Friday.